right, guys, so we are ready to go today. Game 1 here between INFS and Online Kingdom. But first, let's talk about last night's game once again. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so INFS versus Online Kingdom here. So in the best of the 3, getting it kicked off with game 1 and expecting to have a lot of fun with it. But yeah, so INFS, I think it's safe to say, they're going to have an uphill climb for them. This Online Kingdom, not only are they a top-tier elite team, but on top, definitely a favorite in this event overall. But they are coming off, making those $1,000 for the showcase match, of course, against Fnatic MSI. So INFS, they, on the other hand, they do got momentum themselves, as we stressed on, beating Trademark eSports. Arguably has been a very hot team lately. Well, that's not arguable, but arguable in terms of where they are in terms of the team rankings. So yeah, we'll see what INFS brings to the table here today.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Now, INFS, as you mentioned, they are coming off of a great show match win against TDM. Just going back on that game a little bit. Again, all of our show matches win best of 3. So when we talk about our show matches, you can expect for them to have played all 3 games. Now, Book, we talked about him in the pre-show, dominated with Pebbles.
Oh, yeah.
Crazy dominating performance. The ultimates by Tempest and Bombardier over on TDM side definitely were not the greatest, and you could definitely tell INFS capitalized whenever they could in the team fight. So just crazy performance from them. Now, Online Kingdom, the next day actually beat Fnatic MSI. Online Kingdom, they went against, again, kind of a strange Fnatic MSI lineup. MSI running Master of Arms in that first game.
Yeah,
we weren't really sure what to expect. I mean, hell, you and I didn't even remember what half of the spells were called because he just came available in tournament mode. So, but in the end, Loda on Magebane in that third game completely took over and had a crazy dominating performance. And Amun-Ra on MSI just wasn't very good either. So that's kind of where these teams are coming from over the last over the last week, I should say, in the show matches. But here we are with these 2 teams. I mean, again, if INFS can beat Online Kingdom here, that would be yet another upset. But we'll see what happens. Online Kingdom definitely a very tough cookie, especially right now.
Let's not get too ahead of ourselves. As you mentioned, Online Kingdom, they are a very good team, so I'm sure they're going to be giving it their all. Again, you want to get off to a good start. But the bans have begun, so let's start talking about that. We are looking at Corrupted Disciple, Silhouette, Plague Rider, Nymphora, Tempest, and Pharaoh so far. Nothing crazy at all here. With 1 ban left on either side, there are still a couple of heroes left, such as a Wild Soul and Ophelia. Even the Hellbringer, of course, Torturer. So definitely some popular opportunities here for bans still, but they're only going to be able to ban 2 more of those, so we'll see what INFS decides to follow up with here. And if I remember correctly, too, in that series, other than obviously, well, for INFS at least, definitely played very, very aggressive lineups versus Trademark eSports. So I'm curious to see if we kind of get that pace here as well once again in tonight's matches. I would love that, of course, as I always do.
Yeah, well, these 2 teams in general are definitely known for playing aggressive strategies. INFS, especially with the addition of Zoinux New, has really, I think, kind of taken off. You talk about AAA down there at the bottom, a.k.a. Black. Yet again, a very, very strong player, very strong solo mid player. He can really handle solo roles and can dominate with those. So INFS, I think right now, Astonel, again, a great member. I think right now they're really at their best roster-wise. I think they are very, very solid.
Yeah,
I like the roles that they have each of their members typically filling, where you get Book typically plays like that secondary support initiator type role. Fear the Zap usually plays the hard support. Zoinix New can play like a silent carry, but he can also play solo mid as well. So they really do have a very, very good team lineup right now. As far as the members are concerned, I'm looking forward to seeing what they do, especially against a team like Online Kingdom, who, as we've been talking about, very, very difficult team to beat.
So, INFS, the final bans right there, by the way, were in fact Wild Soul and Hellbringer, so no shockers there. Yeah, the bans, I mean, pretty straightforward when you really look at them. Polywalk Priest, the first pickup here by INFS. Now, Torturer is still on the board. Definitely very powerful hero here. Ophelia is still on the board on top of that. So, we'll see if Online Kingdom, I'm sure at least one of the two would have to pick up. Of course, the dangerous thing about picking up Ophelia early on in this is that Parasite is there. So, we have kept stressing that it's very dangerous to pick up Ophelia against a Parasite because of how the fact that he can infest her creeps, of course, which is always that's just flat out annoying. So Kraken and Torture, though, the first two picks for Online Kingdom. So yeah, no surprise there. As we said, Torture, very popular pickup, and when we see him available to be first pick chance, at least for this team on Online Kingdom, might as well take it. So, but INFS feeling pretty comfortable with that Polywalk Priest. And I think it's safe to say if they went Torture, we would have very likely seen Polywalk Priest on the other side. So
yeah, well,
possibility at least.
Yeah, certainly. Torture. I don't know if you can really skip past a Torture pickup though. As for, I mean, Polywalk Priest is a very strong hero, but Torture is incredibly strong.
Yeah,
and I don't know. I mean, we'll have to see. Now they do have last pick, so if they're going to choose Ophelia, as long as INFS doesn't pick her up, I would expect it to happen then. Ake, a very, very strong Ophelia player, if not the strongest Ophelia player in the game right now. So we'll see if that's something they look to do. INFS following up that Polywalk Priest pickup with Andromeda and Demented Shaman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, two solid support now. Demented Shaman, definitely not the most popular. We've seen him a lot, especially with this jungle switch, but it did leave Rhapsody on the board instead, and you can argue that Rhapsody perhaps, again, preference and how you want to play the game definitely comes in the matter, obviously, but I would have to think if you ask most of the competitive community, Rhapsody would be the go-to support over Demented Shaman, but INFS passes up Rhapsody, they go Demented Shaman themselves, and on the other hand, Online Kingdom, of course, they followed up with Rhapsody and Electrician. So once again, we're seeing Electrician. This hero, man, just really coming onto the competitive scene. Died out for a while, but now he's back, and just being a powerful pick all of a sudden. Again, as we talked about, having a hero that could be very tanky in that solo lane role seems to be liked, especially with this jungle-style strategy. Now, obviously, they don't have that jungle hero, but we're talking about very possible that they could finish it off with something like an Ophelia, especially now because, wow, INFS. Amun-Ra is one thing, but they also go Magebane. That's a danger. And look at that, Ophelia to finish off. So, I don't know. INFS, with those picks, they completely committed to a late game here.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're going to have to see exactly what happens here because, it's funny. Like, we talked about how great of a job Loda did on Magebane, but Aston L also did an absolutely phenomenal job on Magebane as well. So, maybe they're thinking this is our hero now. Like if we want to come out with a win against a tough team, we have to pull off the Magebane. So we'll see. We'll see if that really works out for them. Now Ophelia, as you mentioned, the last pick for Online Kingdom, that's going to be a really big one, and we'll see what Ake does with it.
Yeah. So Ake's Ophelia, definitely known as one of the best Ophelias in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, he is just a fantastic Ophelia player, so we get to see that here. That's definitely exciting. But yeah, I mean, Online Kingdom, I'm expecting some very early aggression, not only because of their lineup, but again, you look at INFS and what they decided to go with. Man, oh man, they last two picked Magebane and Amun-Ra. Now, Magebane is a great hero to have against a hero like an Electrician, of course, and like against a team that is reliant on mana, and especially with Rhapsody, Ophelia, and Torture for that matter. Magebane is actually pretty solid against that. However, that comes at about 50 minutes into the game, So until then, though, the Hellborn team in Online Kingdom, I think it's safe to say they're actually they're going to be in a pretty good spot. And INFS, those were some very risky final two picks there.
Yeah, it's basically telegraphing. It's telling the other team, hey, we're gonna try to take this late game, and we're gonna try to force, we're gonna try to defend 4 versus 5 basically until Magebane gets enough farm to really be involved. Now, he has in the past, especially we were talking about people who've been playing Magebane. He has actually Who was the last team that I think we looked at? Maybe it was a couple of weeks ago. I'm not exactly sure it was. It might have been INFS, but
it was Online Kingdom, I believe, with Loda. Loda used it in the show match.
Yeah, I think but he was like 5-0-6 at like 25 minutes in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he was like really playing a big key role early on in the team fights and wasn't just sitting back free farming like Astanel had against TDM when they played. They had that puppet free farming in the top lane, but Magebane being played by Astanel just got complete dominant free farm on the bottom. And took over that way. So we'll see how INFS does. We'll see if they're really able to get this Magebane the free farm that he thinks he's going to need. And at the same time, we talked about how, again, you talked about how great of a counter he is to heal like an electrician, but it works both ways. Electrician's long-term static grip disable, which they often do level the, they look to max that static grip typically when Online Kingdom plays it. So having that additional static grip will certainly be something that this Magebane's going to have to worry about.
Yeah, but as we're seeing right here, so obviously with the strategy, INFS, they are running a very support-heavy Magebane lane in that they are basically running a tri-lane. Obviously, Andromeda finding herself actually after the side, but she's going to eventually go back. But now, Online Kingdom, I like this response. So they send Kraken down here, but they also pair him up with the Rhapsody and then Ophelia in the jungle. So going to kind of be a pseudo tri-lane. However, right now, Rhapsody and Ophelia, they're actually heading to set up a gank here on a Polywalk Priest in the middle lane. You see Polywalk Priest playing very passive. There is this warded side here at the bottom rune, so maybe he had some vision of them heading on over. But here we go with the Vagabond leader. No stun on that, of course, but there's the Rhapsody staccato stun. The chain reactions to follow it up, and the Bloodlust kill coming out in favor of Online Kingdom. So a great start for them, and already playing active right off the bat. That is Ake's Ophelia for you right there. Yeah. The very first creep he picks up, he's going for a gank with it, and usually successful, as we saw.
Yeah, the Vagabond, his AoE ability, I'm not sure exactly what it's called, but it is very strong, especially early on in the game. It does quite a bit of damage. So they did a wonderful job of setting that up, and now they're just going to kind of hang out together and look to get some early farm. Now taking over this Vulture Lord. We'll see if they actually intend to use this to gank the middle lane again. It would not surprise me whatsoever. I mean, it is Ake. Yeah, you see that creep coming in already, and there goes the staccato. Polywalk Priest just absolutely destroyed. Hani going to pick up the kill this time. So really, and wow, look at that. Actually tanking the creep wave using that tornado, and this is going to end up in a little bit of a tower push here for Online Kingdom early on. I would not be surprised, especially with it being Torture. He puts a level into that Impalement soon. He is level 4. He has not yet selected his 4th skill. There we go. He's actually going to max out Chain Reaction, looks like, or at least take another level into it. And but yeah, once he gets that, I mean, this team definitely has tower pushing crazy potential, especially with that Disco Inferno. Oh, Electrician going in on that Amun Ra. He's not gonna chase. I think he thought he was gonna get it with that, but the Iron Buckler.
I'll take care of it.
See, Hani's got in here with the
Torture's got it. Don't worry. Hani will just say, yeah, I got it. Hani, by the way, now 2-0-1. We're only just over 3 minutes in. That's just absurd for him. He's 400 GPM, obviously, which is skewed, but still a great start for him. But yeah, and I've been watching this top matchup a little bit here for the last minute or so. Electrician, Palzilla is just dominating Zoinos New. Zoinos New can get, he's literally got, 4 and 5 right now, the Death Zone and down. Electrician, on the other hand, 12 and 2, but the positioning advantage is vastly in favor of Electrician. Electrician is arguably one of the better melee versus melee heroes, obviously. In the sense that with that electric shield, with the energy absorption, though, for that matter, how powerful it can be, because he's constantly going to be able to spam that nuke on the creep wave, especially if you're nearby. He'll get that mana back on top of doing all that burst damage to you. So now you mentioned they like to go static grit, or Palzilla does specifically, so he actually isn't going any levels into electric shield. But at the same time, I can kind of get that, because Amun Ra, maybe it would just tick down to the point where you're just wasting mana. So instead, wants to be able to channel onto him, wants to get that static grip up as soon as possible, and wants to have, what is, I believe, the longest stun in the game if he's able to channel it for full time at level 4. So, but yeah, Amun Ra really not getting a good start here, as you would expect because of this matchup. He's getting creep kills here and there, but Electrician no doubt has the favor. And with Ake now in the Hellborn jungle, has a Minotaur controlled, is level 3, of course, can still still only have that one minion still, but I wouldn't be surprised if she looks to set up a gank on Amon-Ra. But now Amon-Ra, I don't know if he's now going to start jungling himself or maybe head somewhere else, but you see the lane is pushed up, so he really has no other option right now other than to just eventually head mid or maybe try to set up a gank, but nothing happening there. So really it comes down to this Mage Bane. Mage Bane is 30-16, the best creep farm in the game by far, and 326 gold per minute. So Mage Bane is getting that free farm, but again, it's going to need a lot of time, as always does, to truly take over.
Yeah, I mean, another thing is, and I really am surprised that he's not taking any levels into Electric Shield. I don't think you really need the static grip in this lane. But Amon-Ra, he has the ignite ability, I guess, but the Path of Destruction is going to hit 600 units away from wherever he casts it. You know what I mean? So as long as you stay close to Amon-Ra, he really can't do much in the way of any kind of CC. In fact, static grip going out right now. The Minotaur waiting there to land the stun. Amon-Ra going to be still. And yes, Ake just completely blasts that fool off the map, and he's going to be going back. So we talked about how, Electrician was doing a great job of this top lane. Amon-Ra still only level 5 in a solo lane. He needs to be level 6 already because, I mean, that's where his power comes from, the early game. You talked about how, or you've talked in the past at least, about how he can be effective late game, and he can be, but you still have to have a good, solid early game if you want to make a positive impact, especially when you have a Mage Bane who's going to be the person sitting there not doing anything except for CSing all game.
Yeah. Yeah, that Amon-Ra, continuing to struggle. By the way, I want to reiterate Ake. You just does such a good job right there of not staggering the stun. I mean, we see this so often where stuns will be used on top of each other, not maximizing the efficiency. But literally, as soon, obviously, going validity for that is that he was able to get the Path of Destruction cast off. But because the Minotaur stun happened right after the static grip finish, he was not able to go with it. Eventually got dropped out. Polywalk Priest continues to struggle here in the middle lane. Yes, the final auto attack. I believe that actually the Disco Inferno did him in right there. So another gank on a Polywalk Priest. And AAA is just not having anything at all in that middle lane. He is 0-3 so far. Online Kingdom, as expected, playing very aggressive. They're saying you can have that Mage Bane farm. Go ahead, take it. We're not too concerned about that. We're going to have a good time in the other two lanes, get our farm up on a majority of our heroes, if not all of them, and then eventually take over in this early to mid-game stage. So, and with the lockdown they have on Zoinos New, playing that Amon-Ra, who's under 100 gold per minute, that is just unacceptable for this INFS team. You gotta really like where INFS is at, or excuse me, where Online Kingdom is at. And HoN, he continues to do fantastic as well in this middle lane. Yeah,
I mean, you can tell if you just watch the top lane, Palzilla is not at all worried about the tower damage, about anything else. As soon as Amon-Ra gets close, he usually uses a static grip, goes in on him, and like I said, if he hits a hero, actually, just hitting one hero with the energy absorption, he actually does absorb more mana than he would if it was just creep. So if you get basically one hero and one creep in there, and the energy absorption, you actually heal more mana than you use to begin with. But you see actually a defensive tower push going on at the top lane. This tower will definitely be going down. We'll see if they port mid to try to support at all, but not really any necessity to go there. Torture going to bottle up this.
Bracket in the meantime, yes, the Mana Rift will actually get the kill in favor of Mage Bane, so he chases him down to do enough, but look at HoN. An invisible Torture, and Mage Bane in a lot of trouble. If he opens right here, should be a kill. Health potion activated, the healing bomb goes out. I think he missed his opportunity.
Yeah.
Oh, man, if he changed, that was a certain kill. Maybe he was thinking that Dementor Tom could have reacted in time, but, ooh, HoN, you had it, man.
I think he just wants
he's going to have a port come in, though, from Kraken, so we'll see if they go for something right here. But they're going to go into Dementor Shaman instead. Yes, the Splash Shadow attack will do him in. We see Mage Bane in the meantime just running back, just going to blink away, nothing more he can do. While this is happening, look at this push of the top lane. This secondary tower already going down. They're already threatening the base tower. We're not even 9 minutes into the game. The 2-minute push, Electrician, Rhapsody, and Ophelia. The Legion team, no one's even caring, it seems
TPs.
like.
They don't have any TPs.
Nothing is happening. We have some pings coming out. But are they really going to lose a base tower at 9 minutes into the game? They get a middle base tower, but holy crap, Mage Bane is finally here. Here comes Demented Shaman, but it's too late. The tower is dead. There we go. Amon-Ra comes in. What is he going to do, though? Ophelia just runs away. And what's done is they just push 3 towers with little to no resistance right there from INFS.
I mean, Thank God, I guess they responded at least, and this should allow Amon-Ra to get some free farm in his own base. But yeah, I mean that's just the kind of mind games that you have to expect from people or from players like the people on Online Kingdom, which is, you know, they'll keep you busy in the other lanes. They'll make you worry about that push potential from people like Torture, and you know, while they're up trying to set up ganks in the side lanes, you're not paying attention. You know, you're worried about that mage bane getting this farm. You're not necessarily paying attention to what's going on in your own base. Like Amon-Ra, he had such a terrible time at the top lane that he needed to go towards the middle lane to try to pick up some farm there. He needed to go towards the jungle to pick up some farm there. That's what they have planned because of the way the early game started. So at this point, I mean, Staccato going out on Polywog Priest, by the way, but that was more or less just to try and survive. But you see, already using the Disco Inferno, Magix does not want to stop the push. And at the middle lane, I would not be surprised to see some people come in and try to support this. Ophelia going through, just trying to gather some more creeps, trying to hit that level 7, wants to get at least that that final creep in here. This Catman Soldier, I'm not sure exactly how far away she is
in the
from
middle.
level 7.
There's a dive. Purge going to be used on himself by Electrician. Not able to get in range with the static grip, though, of either Polywog or Andromeda, so they'll live to tell another day. But, man, I mean, that's just what are they going to do here? Polywog is like, do I use my wards defensively? I guess I might have to. Out goes the Electric Jolt, but here comes a 4-man push. The Astral APO from Ophelia, so she's already got that. The Minotaur's not, just the tower is just not going to survive. Hex coming out. There's the wards going down, but the nice stun Polywog Priest. There's one Minotaur stuck. The follow-up happened not in time, but in the meantime, Legion team porting in. Here comes Amon-Ra about the static grip on Demented Child. And where's the energy absorption? Of course, there it is with the follow-up. That's a kill. Mana Rift, not going to be nearly enough for any damage, really, by Mageman right there. I believe that was on Rhapsody. It didn't even really tickle her that much. Down goes Amon-Ra after the resurrection. Nice static grip on a Polywog Priest just in range. And the energy absorption, no, we cannot get it off. He takes the damage, and he actually goes down, so not worth it in the end. Magebane ports out, and what's done is done, but they got the tower. Torturer stayed alive, if anything, as he now has over 2,000 gold saved up. So, you know, lost a couple of heroes, but I still think it's safe to say Online Kingdom we'll be happy with that, with the overall.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely still in a very commanding position. Ophelia already having the heal, already having the Astrolabe. It's push central over on the Hellborn team at this point. There's just not a whole lot they're going to be able to do, especially at these early towers. This tier 1 tower at the bottom, you see Kraken just putting some auto attacks into that. But already Torture is coming down, and Ophelia is following very close behind. And the 2 Minotaurs are still back in the base. They're still healing up. So
they need life too.
They need life too.
Okay, well, I'm sure command them any second and start controlling and pushing out with them once again. But for the time being,
there's the 3rd Minotaur.
She's actually going to have to walk all the way down as, there's the 3rd Minotaur coming in. But 4-man push in the meantime at the bottom lane without Ophelia. Not even necessary. Easy tower kill, and Helmet's not even picked up yet, by the way, by Torture. Wasn't even used right there nonetheless, so with that said. But Legion team, they're kind of doing a counter push, but I don't know about this. It's, I mean, Ophelia's not there pushing the bottom, so I guess that makes more sense. But look at the Minotaurs coming in. There's a 2nd stun going off, maybe a 3rd stun. There's a 3rd stun. You just see the spread damage that she was able to do. But the tower push at the bottom lane, so INFS committing to a base race right here to an extent, and I just don't know if they're going to win that. But actually, Online Kingdom, they're going to be the ones to port out. And now the chase is on. Almanar realizing he's in a horrible spot. He's now beyond enemy territory. Electrician just trying to find him at this point. Now here comes Ophelia. There's the purge on himself. Amon-Ra somehow dodging, though, trying to get away. He turns around. No, with a misclick right there. This data grip comes out. The follow-up stuns and that charge from from Kraken will finish him off. In the meantime, Torturer and Rhapsody, they get caught out a little bit down here, but they'll just going to shrug it off and run back themselves. And, well, to the bottom tower? Yes, the bottom tower even went down on top of that. So they saved the middle tower. The bottom tower goes down. They kill Amon-Ra, and now going to push back this middle lane here.
Yeah, the story of this early game completely told by looking at the GPM tab. I don't know when the last time I saw almost everybody in one team over 300 gold per minute, especially, like, I've seen it a couple of times when you go for, like, an early level on Kongor straight into push. But eventually by the 15-minute mark or so, that's completely gone. Yeah. But they are really doing a great job of not only, getting these tower kills, which has had a lot of it, but you look at the creep farm in general. I mean, Rhapsody is the only one below 30 creeps. So they're continuing to do a nice job. Magebane, of course, 98 creeps complete domination as far as free farm.
Great.
450 gold per minute, but I mean, a Mage Bane, you know, is only really worth his weight when he's involved in a team fight, and he hasn't really been doing that much. And despite having that really great farm, it's still going to be probably another, I don't know, another minute or so before he can actually pick. No, but he can actually, in the next creep kill, he'll be able to finish his ruined axe. But will that be enough? I mean, will that be enough?
Well,
to
all
turn
that
this
does,
around?
it just increases his farm even more. So
Well,
again,
I mean, he'll be able to do some more damage and have
sure,
some regeneration. But
yeah,
I know what you're
meantime,
saying.
he's barely sitting at 1,000 life with
Yeah.
string steam boots, and against this Hellborn team, a lot of CC coming out and a good chunk of burst. Good luck surviving in those team fights if he chooses to get involved. So, it's great that he's having good farming, but INFS, that's basically they've now. Not that that's ultimately really a choice of theirs, because again, it's how the situation played out, how the game played out, that's how their lineup picked in the first place. Is, by the way, bottom lane, nice hex right there by AAA. Speaking of AAA, in the meantime, 326 gold per minute on Polywalk Priest. He's somehow managed to recover after just 3 early deaths, constantly getting ganked, so that's great for them as well. But yeah, they've committed to, we're going to turtle this up. We're going to hope that the Hellborn team doesn't eventually push and overwhelm us to the point where they win the game as a result of that. And we're just going to hold it out as long as possible to take it to that mid to late game stage, because then, yes, they have a chance. But you just see right here, the tower already dead from earlier on, remember. Now the melee rack's being worked on. Dimension Tom coming to kill. There's a defensive Polywalk ward, so they will fend it off for now. And the Hellborn team will have to fall back. But yeah, exactly. For now, Ophelia, Catman champion, double Minotaur push here in the middle, using the nuke on the creep wave. Here comes Mage Bane, though. There's one stun. There's a second stun. Now the follow-up, and Mage Bane will fall. Mage Bane's like, wait a second. You microed your minions. You're not supposed to be able to do that. That's a free kill on a Mage Bane. Why you would walk up to a Minotaur like that and expect nothing to happen is beyond me, especially when it's Ake. He thought it was fine, though. Astronaut was not. There's a kill on a Mage Bane. He cannot buy back, or maybe, no, I don't think he even can, to be honest. But so they're now really going to push this top lane without the worry of him coming in, cleaning up the wards, and this should be a very dead melee racks right here. We're only now coming up to the 17-minute mark.
Actually, he can buy back.
Can he? Okay, well.
Yeah, his current buyback cost is 504, and he's got 520. But I think at this point, they all just realize, like, okay, well, we just lost a entire lane at 17 minutes into the game. And you know, how do you really come back from that? There's just not a whole lot of options available to them. Okay, you have to ban Ophelia against Online Kingdom at this point. I feel fairly comfortable saying that, or pick her first.
Yeah,
so because Ake is gonna make you pay if he gets that hero. You see it already. Amun-Ra being initiated on Common Stun does come out, but a really nice release to Kraken. Amun-Ra will resurrect, but it's probably not going to mean a whole lot. Mage Bane getting caught by the Staccato Stun, and you just see that Ophelia heal with the Astrolabe coming out, returning basically his entire team to full health, and then on top of that, the ultimate from Rhapsody. This defensive tower is definitely going to go down. Polywalk Freeze, there's the Disco Inferno right there, but Polywalk Freeze using Electric Jolt, just try to scare somebody. But the Minotaurs, they continue to pound in. The Voodoo Wards come back out. And we'll see if Electrician actually gets finished off, but a nice stun there from Hani on that Torture. And
exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I mean,
this
is basically over at this point. They're going to be able to probably take out this melee rack before they fall back. You see Palzilla not even worried about the additional tower damage. He's going to go down, but he will resurrect due to having that token. And yeah, so they're going to get 2 lanes down here before the 20-minute mark. There is no way to come back from that.
Yeah, it really does go back to the final 2 picks, Amun-Ra and Mage Bane. It's not too often you see 2 very hard carry. Well, again, Amun-Ra not very hard carry by any means, but 2 heroes that are reliant on a lot of farm, especially in the early game. And so it kind of made it into a, we're going to sit back and farm. Don't play too aggressive, guys. We're going to sit back and farm and take our time. Online King is, no, we're not going to let that happen. We're going to play aggressive to win this game, and that's ultimately what they accomplished. So. In fact, there we go with the vote to concede at least. We'll see if it actually passes through. But obviously, Online Kingdom, they just make their way to the bottom lane. GGs are actually called, though, and that will officially do it. So INFS, or Online Kingdom, excuse me, Online Kingdom takes game 1.